Hola amigos, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Emma Bennet. I write contemporary romance and the occasional children's picture book. Today I am joined by the lovely Sasha, who is social media manager for the best publisher in the world. That is my publisher, Joffrey Books. Sasha, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Really excited to be here.
Awesome. So how did you get into being a social media manager? How did that, because I'm guessing from your accent that you are not from the UK.
No, I'm actually not from the UK. I'm from the States, Chicago, and I moved here about 2.5 years ago. I'm also an author, so I have published 4 books with HarperCollins, and that's how I got my visa over here. So I got my visa through my writing career and moved over here and loved everything about the UK. But one thing I was missing was some structure, because when you're a writer, you have to hold yourself accountable for all the things, your scheduling, your deadlines. And I thought that was great. But when I was off deadline, I didn't really know what to do with myself. So I ended up thinking, well, I had a YouTube channel. I'm really good with social media. Why not apply for a job? And so I did with Joffrey. And it was my very first job interview. And I got it. So that's how I kind of fell into the Joffrey scam.
Brilliant. And you have a YouTube channel. I did not know this.
Yes, that's how I got my start in the world of social media. It was a booktube channel, a book utopia, with like, I think it had 300,000 followers. So it was an amazing community. And I love talking about books on the internet. It was incredible. And it gave me my start in the social media world and just chatting about books on the internet. But after I gained that many followers, it kind of got a bit too stressful, which is the best problem to have. But I took a step back and fell into social media management, really, with Joffrey Books. And it's been an incredible journey.
Brilliant. That is so cool. So I've got quite a few questions for you today. And then I also had some questions sent in by people on my own social media channels. Some of them do overlap a little bit, but you can always just say, I've already answered that. That is fine. Right. So let's start getting through these, because people are really, really interested to hear what you have to say. There we go. So the first question is, how important do you think it is for authors to be on social media nowadays?
I think it's very important, mainly because they can control what they put out there. Usually with publishers, like, they have a marketing plan, but having your own marketing plan and getting out on the social media sites that you think are going to be good for you and your book, it's so vital. And I think it's all about like being comfortable as well, because some authors won't want to be on TikTok because you have to show your face, but they can easily be on Instagram because they could just take pictures of things and promote their books through those avenues. But when it comes to how important it is very important, but it's also important that the publisher also does their work on social media and promotes your book. But yeah, it is important. And I hate to say that, because I know that social media is a tricky thing for a lot of authors out there, not knowing where to start. But this is why I hope that this little chat will help other authors out there who don't know where to start when it comes to social media. But yes, it is important, and it's pretty awesome.
I love what you guys have been doing on the Joffrey Books Instagram in particular. Yes. I've noticed you've got so many fun reels and things that are going on.
Thank you. Yeah, my little mini tripod is currently digging into my back. I'm going to film more TikToks today, so that should be really fun.
Brilliant. Right, then the next question is, what social media channels are most useful for authors?
So with my notes being right here, I was thinking about this question because one thing I've noticed being a social media manager for a publisher that primarily publishes, crime fiction and psychological thrillers, detective novels, even though we're venturing out of that now and into not out of it completely. No, it's still very much there, but we have added a list of romance titles and we're so excited about it. But with different genres come different social media platforms. So for example, you have to think about who your readers are. If they're 50 plus, they're probably more on Facebook. If they're 30 plus, they're probably also on Twitter. And this doesn't really have to do with age, but it has to do with how readers communicate with the authors that they love and the easier kind of easier ways to go about it are determined by age range. And so I would recommend that, like with genres, I recommend for authors that write romance, psychological thrillers, and those types of novels that kind of skew younger as well, especially with the age of the character. TikTok's great. TikTok is wonderful because that is a great platform to get out to the audience you desire. But then again, with Facebook, it's great because you can create an amazing community. You can communicate with them more easily in the community forums. You can go and share photos. TikTok doesn't really allow you to do that. But I really think that Instagram is incredible. I think that you really can have that ease and also have that connection with your readers on there, just like you will get from Facebook, but it has a little bit more engagement and more of a broad scope of an audience. So I do recommend Instagram, I have to say. And you don't have to always post pretty pictures. People just like to see the author doing what they do best, which is write.
Yeah, I like Instagram as well. But one of the reasons I like it is that you don't tend to get the politics, I think, on there that you do on Twitter and TikTok in particular. It just seems like a nicer place. Everybody's just like sharing nice stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's a safe space, because the thing is, you don't want to stumble across like a bad review for your book unless you somehow love getting like, wait, I need to be appropriate. But like, so with Twitter, yes, you can stumble across a bad review of your book so easily. Same with like even YouTube and TikTok a little bit. I think that Instagram is just such a safe place and has way more of like a nurturing community around it. And that's why I left YouTube and went to Instagram, because I just wanted to feel safe and comfortable. And I didn't want to run into any negative things about my book, especially when I was on deadline for the second one. So I just, Instagram is the way to go, but also Twitter and Facebook. I know that is not really nailing it down to one platform, but I think all platforms are important.
Yeah, definitely. Do you also see that there's a difference for, I'm trying to work out how to say this, but basically, I mean, like if a book has more female readers, for example, I would imagine that Instagram would be the way to go. But if it's got more male readers, would it still be Instagram? I imagine that Instagram is a little more of a female space. It just seems more feminine somehow.
No, it definitely is. And I would recommend Twitter for more of a manny audience. That's what we call, books that are skewed more towards a male audience. And Twitter is the place to go. They have way more men on that platform, and they like to tweet at each other. That's for sure. Getting into arguments maybe in the threads, no. But to kind of like skew towards the platforms that you see your audience in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then number 3 is, what would you advise authors to post on their social media?
Yeah. So for this one, I think that I'm reading my notes, by the way, because I did want to answer these questions to the best of my ability. So one thing I would recommend is the writing process. I think that is something that many authors do touch upon, but they don't really go into detail. And it's not about giving away secrets. It's about lifting up a community, like helping aspiring writers and showing your readers a little bit more about the back end work, not just the physical copy that you have on publication day. I also recommend doing teasers. Teasers are like little snippets from your book that draw the reader in and make them want to pre-order your book, because they want to feel like they're a part of the process. Even if it's just you writing in the room, they're also going to be feeling like they're a part of it. Maybe not in your room, but they are going to be a part of this process. And it's a very special thing to create that connection with your readers. I also recommend now and then maybe just posting something more about your personal life. Like, oh, look, I just got some flowers today. It doesn't have to go into details about your personal life, but it's showing them that you are human. Because sometimes it is missed by readers that there's an actual person behind this book. And creating that relationship is so important. And I know that you have a wonderful relationship with your readers, I bet, because you are here on camera and you share your life, you share your writing process. And it's a beautiful thing to see, because that's what any publisher wants their authors to do. But not everybody can do that.
No. it's tricky to find the balance, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
Yeah. So we've kind of answered this. This question was, if an author could only be on one social media channel, which one would you advise?
Yeah. Instagram. But I
Instagram.
really want to say Facebook, but I would say Instagram. Instagram, you get a way more broader audience than you will on Twitter alone, TikTok alone, and even Facebook alone. It's hard to gain followers on Facebook. It's easier to do so on Instagram, and they just so happen to be owned by the same company. So best of both worlds.
Yeah. What I find Facebook really useful for is the groups more than anything else, to get kind of like help and advice from other authors. And, if you are self-publishing, if you're looking for, an editor or a proofreader or something like that, the groups are so helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Right. Number 5, are there any authors you think do social media really well?
Yes. So I'm a young adult author. So pretty much all of my suggestions are young adult authors. But I think that no matter the genre, you could take inspiration from anyone who's doing social media well. They don't even have to be an author. They could be a small business owner, for example. But I think that for authors, at least, Victoria Aveyard does social media very well, especially on TikTok. Right. So does Laura Sebastian. Geneva Rose, she had a TikTok sensation book, and everybody read it because she had a great TikTok strategy, and she used her husband in it, and it was pretty fascinating to see that kind of roll out and the success of it afterwards. And then Ben Alderson, he's amazing. He has been writing for many years, but his books finally started, picking up the traction that they deserve because he started talking on TikTok. And all these authors also have great Instagram pages, Twitter pages, and Facebook pages. If I had to pick one to really study, it would be Laura Sebastian.
Right. Okay. What we'll make sure I do is that I'll stick all the links to those authors and their social media in the description so that people can go and check them out. That's really interesting what you said about TikTok, though, because I thought that it was still the case that you should be on TikTok, but that the books that really like just burst out because of TikTok, that it's actually the readers who make that happen. Like in the case of Colleen Hoover, that's like the major one.
It is fascinating, actually, and I'm really glad that you brought up that note. A lot of as a publisher, we had to kind of figure out where we fit into the TikTok realm, because it's not the publishers that that go viral. It's the authors and it's the readers who are talking about the book. And it's just amazing to see such a wonderful community really push so many books to the stars that may have not have even hit. I don't use a scientific term, but obviously I cannot come up with it right now. But it doesn't even hit the atmosphere if you don't have the hype around it. So when it comes to the readers, they really do all the work, and it's about you as the author to make them feel like they're a part of the process and a part of the journey with you.
Right. Are there any common mistakes you see authors making on social media?
Well, I like to say that there's no mistakes unless you post something that you never really wanted to get out there. So one of the mistakes actually is I see that, and it's not really stuff I see, it's stuff that I know that does circulate throughout the author circles, and that is like they withhold information that could be great for other authors to know and for readers to know. Like for example, like how they got their agent, or how a book is edited. When I first started my journey as an author, I had no idea that, and this sounds so silly, but I was 19. I never thought I would write a book, ended up writing one. And
that's crazy.
I know. I mean, I never expected that. And then 4 books later, wow. But with my first book, I thought the editor, you just write a first draft and the editor does all the rest of the work. That was not the case.
That would be nice.
I know, that would be amazing. I would love for my editor to do that, but that's not the case. So I would have loved to know that. So it's not withholding, it's sharing, and it's building up the community that you surround yourself with. Another mistake that I see is, I wrote this down. not putting the link to their book in their posts.
Right.
Because a lot of authors forget that, well, you're promoting your book and it's great, but it's great to also have the link so the the reader can just tap through and go buy your book. Those are only two mistakes that I would think are really prominent, especially the second one. That's why we always like to send our authors the links that they can use, because they don't want a very long link. Sometimes it's nice to have a nice condensed short one. So we like to give a helping hand to our authors when it comes to that.
Yeah, that is helpful. So the next question was, what's your favorite social media platform? But I guess it's definitely Instagram. We know that.
Instagram's my baby. I love Instagram. It's great. But I also do love TikTok. But Instagram will always be my number one.
You're loyal. I like that.
I'm loyal. I'm a loyal follower of the Instagrams.
Question number 8 then. What new trends are you seeing on social media?
Oh gosh, there's always a new trend every single day. But a trend, if you can even consider this a trend, is authenticity. So when it comes to putting yourself out on the internet, you sometimes want to hide some of yourself, and that's important. It's important to protect yourself from people who may want to do you wrong. But when it comes to authenticity, it's about showing them the real side of the writing process, the journey as an author, the ups and downs. And I think it's important to be authentic. So it's pulling out your phone if you're thinking, oh my gosh, like this draft is complete crap, and thinking, oh, wait, let me take out my phone and be like, hey guys, this is what I'm feeling like today.
Yeah.
Because I'm human. It doesn't always come easy. Like, when it comes to writing, it's a hard process. And so sharing that and being really just authentic and relatable is a trend that I've seen a lot. And it's actually really blowing up. And I know that sounds weird. That's a trend, but it is on TikTok, because people just show their day-to-day lives and people can relate to it. And you can use that same method with book promotion and sharing with your readers who you are as an author and who you are as a person.
Yeah, I think readers definitely do like that. And there's a big change between how it used to be, where, you might just have the author photo at the back of a book, which I always used to go and look for the author photo because you want to know what they look like. And now, you've got them on TikTok, on Instagram, maybe not on Instagram so much, but not looking so perfect. Like I will pull out a camera when I'm doing NaNoWriMo and it's like 11:30 at night, and I'm just like, okay, like I am hating this, guys. Is anybody else like,
Yeah, it's amazing, and I love watching those things. I love watching people that I can relate to, and it closes that distance between the author to the reader, and I find that really beautiful.
Okay, so now we have some questions from my social media followers. So Zoe said, oh, interesting. I'm a social media manager for authors, and I'd love her take on the TikTok situation and what she's doing in preparation should the platform take a hit.
Yeah, with TikTok, it's been destined to be taking a hit for a very long time, and it never happens. So that's why I'm not too worried, because if it does happen, that's a shame, and it will be quite catastrophic for many careers. But for us and at Joffy and with any other publisher, just move to Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels is great. It's the same type of platform, and Instagram's really pushing Reels. So it's just about moving to a different platform. But I do think that if it does take a hit, it's about having a plan B, and we have a plan B, Instagram Reels. So I'm not too worried about it, but it is of course on my mind. But since it's not actually happening right now, it's not taking up too much room in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And Angela Sims says, FB and Twitter, is it enough? Apart from sharing the same content, I'm not convinced that Insta gives me anything different, although I do quite like their reels. How often should I post?
Yes. So for the first question, Facebook and Twitter is enough if you have the time to, manage those, interact with your audience, and just nurture it. But I do think that if it's not really showing that return, it's important to get on Instagram and TikTok, but not really as much TikTok as Instagram. And the great thing that you could do is actually go and schedule posts for the week. You know, on Monday,
Mhm.
create a bunch of posts, schedule for all platforms. Then you don't need to be on social media more than you want. So I do think Facebook and Twitter is enough for most authors, but if you have the time and energy, Instagram is definitely very important as well. And then when it comes to how often should I post? Well, I recommend posting every other day if you're an individual, or every day. It's about keeping up that engagement. And by keeping up that engagement, you have to keep up the posts. That's why I also recommend scheduling posts in advance, just so it doesn't take up too much of your time and it's not another thing to, you know, tick off your to-do list throughout the week.
Yeah.
So I would recommend posting once a day or once every other day, or there's actually a ratio. It's like 3 to 2. Or yeah, it's like, no, it's 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, 2 on. So 2 days in a row you post, then you take 1 day off, then 2 more days. And
Okay.
yeah, it's all about just like monitoring your analytics and seeing when your audience is most active, and also making sure that you do not lose them by putting so much content out to them, because it's nice to see a post or two, but seeing like 20 posts, I don't think anybody wants to see that, but schedule it for throughout the week.
Yeah. And of course, with Instagram and Facebook, you can connect those two so that you can post like the same thing if you want to. Like if you've got like a reel, you can also post it on, like set it to post on Facebook as well, can't you?
Exactly. It's super easy to do.
Right. And Bernadette said, reach. How do you reach more people than just your own followers? Oh, and do they believe newsletters are the magic we're told they are?
Ooh, okay. So, reach. So I took a few notes. I've taken a lot of notes, and I'm just gonna.
You really did. Thank you.
Yeah, because I wanted to make sure that these questions were answered thoroughly, because they're really great ones. So the first thing is engaging with your followers. That's how you get more reach, is commenting back to people on your posts and engaging with your audience. The second thing I would recommend is using niche hashtags. So that would be like authors of Instagram, or you know, crime writers of Instagram, using more of a niche hashtag that you know that people follow, because you can actually follow hashtags on Instagram, and then your posts, if you have that hashtag in your post, it will get boosted to the people who follow that hashtag. So it's kind of like following a hashtag as you would follow somebody, and it gets put onto your main page, and it's really great. I would also recommend consistency when it comes to posting, like we just mentioned before. Posts and you know, show various different types of content, and it could be just strictly writing content, but it also can be just like, you know, taking a picture of some flowers that you like that day. So just posting consistently and making sure people don't forget that you're there. And the last thing is being genuine. Being genuine matters most, and you want people to feel like they could be your friend.
Yeah. Thank you. Great advice.
Oh, and newsletters. Yes, they are. They are magic. So my side of marketing at Joffy Books is not the newsletter side. I do the graphics for it, but besides that, that magic is done by Gemma and Hannah. But our newsletter is truly exceptional, and I think that if you do have a chance to start a newsletter, definitely do so, because it will reach everyone, all demographics, all different types of people, because everybody checks their email, and it's quite nice to just go in and see a nice newsletter with some lovely books in there. And, you know, it's really easy to do. So I recommend, yes, newsletters are important, and they are very magical.
Oh, yeah, I do need to get, I keep saying I need to get on top of it. I kind of never know what to put on there unless I've got big news.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, it's hard. You don't have to actually use the newsletter every week. You could do it when you have news, like, you know, putting out a newsletter like once a month, just to, you know, do a little bit of a life update. If you post a YouTube video, put that in there. You know, just sharing the news, and it's kind of like a little mini blog. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
And our final question today is from Vintage Stacy, who says, I'd like to know if there are any common mistakes that authors make when starting to develop a social media presence, and tips to avoid them.
Yes. So I will take this as like from a perspective of an author. I think that it is important to have a group of people that monitor your reviews, that can give you helpful advice, that come from those reviews, and stay off of any website that you have reviews on. It can be really saddening to you as an author if you see a negative one, and that's completely natural. I'm definitely not normal. I love seeing negative reviews, and I get like energy off of it. I'm like, oh, you thought that? That's great. But not everybody thinks that way. And then that end up feeding into their social media presence, because then they can be scared to go into the comments. They can be scared to go and engage with their, readers. I know that I experienced that when I first published my first novel, Zenith, and it ended up putting me into a social media slump. And that wasn't great for promotion. It wasn't great for me. And people missed me online. And it's because I was fearful of seeing anything negative. You do get over that sometimes with time, but that is one mistake, just searching for the negative. Another mistake is sharing too much about yourself or your kids. I do know that child safety is so important, and it always has been on social media, but there can be some crazies out there who may be obsessed with your book, and then they can be obsessed with other things in your life. So make sure that what you share is something that won't be skewed incorrectly in the future. And that is protecting where you live. Don't post, the outside of your house. I know that sounds pretty basic, but it's very important. And just stay authentic. And this is an interesting question, actually, because there's no mistakes. There's just issues that arise, I like to say.
Being careful.
Being careful. Also, one mistake, put the link to your book in your post. Not Instagram, because Instagram, you can't actually put the link into the post, even though I do it on the Joffrey page every single day. But I would recommend putting it into your bio. And then if it's on Facebook and Twitter, make sure you link your book. You don't need to do it for every single one, but if you're trying to get more pre-orders, make sure you have the link, because that's an easy way for people to go and pre-order your book. But I think that answers the question. It was hard for me to come up with mistakes and whatnot, but it's, safety, stranger danger. And that comes from my perspective of, I was doxxed, actually. Somebody looked at a video I was filming, and they got a screenshot of the outside of my apartment where I used to live, and they put it out on the internet. And that's scary. You don't know who falls.
My goodness.
Safe, and be considerate, and also just stay away from the crazies.
Definitely.
It's wild. It's wild. People
never really is.
But those are great questions, really great questions, and I hope that my answers are good and that they can take something away with them.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for your really, really thoughtful answers. I'm sure that, I've taken quite a lot away from it, so I'm sure that everybody watching this will as well. This is part of my social media for authors series. There's a playlist which I will link in the description below if you kind of want to see what else I've been doing. I've covered Twitter and Facebook so far. TikTok I'm putting off because I really, really don't like TikTok. I have whole issues with TikTok, but I will face my demons at some point this year.
Face those demons.
Also, I do post on TikTok, but it really is like reposting my reels, and I put them on there and kind of like a few things, and then I disappear off it because I just
Hey, it happens. But hey, if you ever need any of the videos that I put on our Joffrey Books TikTok to post on yours, let me know, because your books are featured on our pages very, very often.
I know they are. It's lovely. I always get very excited when I see one of my books on.
It's like almost every week, I think, at this point.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Okay, right. Well, thank you everybody who has watched this. I hope it's been really useful, and thank you again, Sasha, for joining me. I will be back as usual for more live streams and things next week, so make sure that you take a little look at my channel and get notified if you would like to join me for any of those, and I will catch you very, very soon. Sasha, you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'm sure I will be messaging you with some requests very soon.
Please do. I love requests. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Bye for now, everyone.